The biggest debate among NBA fans currently is the 92 Dream Team versus the current USA team in 2024. And for the majority of media members picking the current team over the 92 team, it's a lot of narratives and emotions over actual facts. As what's one thing you'll constantly hear? While the Dream Team played in a weak era, those guys were old, they faced no competition. And one of the most annoying takes regards Magic and Bird being called old, washed, past their prime, and looked at as sympathy picks for the Dream Team.
This team would dominate the 92 team.
Dominate?
Dominate them.
Uh-oh.
First of all, you had Larry Bird couldn't play no more.
No,
I love Larry.
No, he was done.
He was done.
Yeah.
Magic didn't play the year before because he was dealing with the...
But he wasn't done.
He was done.
But 92, Bird was a shell of himself. Magic had just retired.
The 92 Dream Team, Larry Bird was shot. He retired 10 days after the Olympics. LeBron right now is better than Magic was to me at 32 or 33 years old.
Now, when it comes to 92 Magic, 92 Bird, I'm not saying those guys are prime MVP players like they were in 86 or 87. I'm not saying that. But Magic and Bird at that point, they had a lot left in the tank and historically are actually underrated. And looking at Larry Bird first, when it comes to his career, it's really 1980 to 88, that's all anyone cares about. And the post-injury years are kind of written off as Bird being washed and past his prime. Now, looking at the actual numbers Bird's play, really it's far from it. And keep in mind, Bird at that time had numerous injuries to his back, ankles, Achilles. He was breaking his face on the hardwood and still put up phenomenal numbers.
What effort by Larry Bird. And Larry Bird is headed directly to the locker room.
5 minutes later.
Gets the ball, takes it, makes it! Person. Stuffed him and had something to say afterwards.
Much like Jordan, Washington, Shaq, and Phoenix, those forgotten years of Larry Bird's career are just kind of dismissed and ignored. But if you actually look at those seasons, they're definitely pretty impressive given Bird's injury history. And looking at 92, Larry Bird, 20.2 points per game, 9.6 boards, 6.8 assists on 47-41 and 93 splits. Larry Bird this year was top 20 in points, rebounds, and assists, the only player in the NBA top 20 in all three categories. And for some perspective, in the current NBA, only 3 players accomplished that the past season, that being Giannis, Jokic, and Luka, 3 of the best offensive players we currently have in the NBA. And also one quick side note, Bird 92 averaged 8.6 defensive rebounds, among the NBA's leaders that ranked 3rd, tied with Hakeem Olajuwon. If you watch Bird's game in 92 compared to his previous seasons, he's much more grounded playing on the floor and rarely if ever jumping. At that point watching Bird play, it was very much Jokic-esque.
Got Worthy in a switch. Good look. Bird to Parrish.
Flag for the coaches. You should.
That's not super relevant to an NBA game, but.
Oh, how about Jokic with an incredible...
Drexler with the spin. Nice setup for Buck Williams. It's down to a 4-point lead. Bird unleashes to Fox. That's a prize.
Well, the Denver Nuggets, long pass. Porter is out.
Now, looking at Larry Bird's own words and his quotes about the 92 season, it's pretty clear this dude is playing through pain on a nightly basis. One thing he made clear is that when he got a rhythm and a flow, he was virtually unstoppable in his mind, even at age 35. And one of the best Bird games of all time that's been lost to history actually came this season. As versus the Portland Trailblazers, the eventual Western Conference champions, Bird put up 49 points, 14 boards, 12 assists, 4 steals, on 19 of 35 shooting. Bird in this game in double overtime outplayed and beat Clyde Drexler, who was a first-team All-NBA player and finished second MVP voting to only Michael Jordan. And still to this day, Larry Bird, having that 40-point triple-double, is the oldest player ever to accomplish that feat in an NBA game. And again, keep in mind Bird was doing this versus a Portland team that was a top 3 defense. And of course, when it comes to 92 Bird in the Olympics, this guy had tons of back injuries, tons of ailments that really limited his play from game to game. But again, like Bird said, when he got his rhythm and got a flow, he was still highly productive on the offensive end. And when it came to the Olympics, Bird got 20 plus minutes in 3 games. Bird in those games, 12.7 points per game, 54% from the field, 88% on 2s, and 35% on 3s. And one thing Bird understood at this point, he wasn't the superstar, the centerpiece of the Dream Team. That's why in some games took a back seat, only taking 1-2 shots per game, and not really caring about his stats or overall numbers, which of course is typical Larry Bird. And speaking of unselfish players, we have Magic Johnson. And Magic 92 still had tons of game left, and realistically was still in his prime. As the previous 9 years, Magic leading up to 92 was top 3 MVP voting every single season. And of course 91 finished second, only to Jordan. And up to that point, the last time we'd seen Magic was in the 91 playoffs. And Magic that run had one of the best runs of his career, with a supporting cast that was much diminished from the mid-80s.
It's Porter, not there. Rebound Johnson. He just throws it to the other end, and finally out of bounds.
This guy's last game in his career up to that point came in the 91 finals, Game 5 versus the Bulls. And what did he do in this game? 16 points, 20 assists, and 11 boards. That 20 assist game had ranked second all-time for a finals in league history. And if it wasn't for Jordan and the Bulls, Magic probably has 6 rings. And looking at the HIV announcement, when did that come? November 7th of the following season, leading up to the season. And of course when it came to the All-Star Game in Orlando, who stole the show? Magic Johnson. 25 points, 9 assists, 5 boards, on 9-12 shooting with 3 made threes.
6-5, three-pointer, yes, oh my!
Now, looking at the actual Olympic play Magic, his overall numbers are definitely pretty impressive. As Magic on that team, 8 points per game, 5.5 assists, 1.3 steals on impeccable shooting splits. If you compare quote-unquote washed Magic, some of the best point guards in USA history, his numbers actually stack up to them and are superior to guys like Deron Williams, as well as Chris Paul. And of course, Deron in 2012, he was in his prime and an all-star, and CP3 in 08 at the peak of his powers as an individual player. And despite that, a washed Magic had better numbers, a higher impact, and just was better across the board. And look, those stats right there, of course, they are impressive. But a bit of context he's overlooked is Magic 92 Olympics actually got injured and missed a handful of games. And the game Magic got injured in was versus Croatia, where he only played 8 minutes. The following game versus Germany, missed the entire game, versus Brazil, missed that game, and versus Spain, only played 9 minutes. Magic's overall numbers at the Olympics aren't an actual good representation of how good he was at that point in his career, as the games he actually played healthy, played at least 19 minutes per game. Here's what he averaged: 11.0 points, 7.8 assists, 1.8 steals on, again, impeccable shooting splits. Much like Bird 92, Magic was battling through injuries, but when he was healthy on the court and available playing starter minutes, he dominated versus the competition. So that right there is the end of the video, and when it comes to Magic and Bird, 2 of my favorite players of all time. And seeing these guys being dubbed washed past their prime and being labeled sympathy picks for the Dream Team, I had to respond to that and set the record straight. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.